Welcome back to Minecraft Survival. This is my Let's Play world where we have been working on building up various areas in this world and connecting them all together with some world building. I've been working my way up to a mega base project and is definitely the biggest build that I have ever made in Minecraft to date. But we will get to that eventually because today, since we have reached 25 episodes in this series and this world, I wanted to take a minute to do a little bit of a world tour for you to show you everything that we've built so far. And for those of you who maybe have just found this series and don't want to catch up on 24 other episodes, you can just start right here and watch this world tour, and then you'll be all caught up with everything we have done in this world so far. So we're going to start the tour with where we began the series, which is our mangrove swamp starter base, and this behind me is our starter house. This was the first thing that we built in this world. Let's take a look around, take a look from a distance. Here it is, our starter house with some mushrooms. We used the mangrove wood in the roofs and also in the sides, the stripped version in the roofs and then the unstripped on the sides. I really wanted to work with the new mangrove wood and build in the new mangrove biome with my starter base. When I first started this world, it was not long after 1.19 was released, so I really wanted to build with all of the new blocks. So we built this starter house. If we come in here, we had our original storage, which is totally empty now because we moved everything to a much bigger storage room. And if we come up the stairs, we have our second level. We have a little kitchen area, a brewing area over there. We rescued these allays from a woodland mansion that is not too far from our starter base, and I haven't yet found anywhere to put them, so they're just hanging out here, but I am thinking that they're going to go in the mega base that we are currently working on. I think they'll fit really well in that build, so I'm definitely going to take them over there eventually, but for now they're just kind of hanging out in the starter house up here. Out here is just a little balcony area and we can look out over the swamp. And then upstairs we have our bedroom. That is our first ever diamond in that item frame, and we can look out. We have a balcony in here and a little window to look out onto the swamp. And I really love this starter house. I think it turned out really well. I'm really happy with how it turned out. We have the giant mushrooms around and these flowers as well up this side. And yeah, overall, I just think this was a really cute starter house. I really like how it turned out. We also have a little map here that shows the swamp area. We didn't put this in straight away. We put this in later on, but since it's right next to the starter base, I'll show you now. So this is our swamp area. This is our starter house here, and the rest of the things in the swamp, which I will show you. So we have a few paths that kind of branch off in different directions. We have this bridge up here, which we built because of this waterfall that goes down into a cave down there. And this actually was the main feature that made me want to build in this particular part of the swamp, because I thought this big lake, I wanted to be on the edge of this big lake, and then we had this really cool waterfall here as well, which I thought was awesome. So we built this bridge to kind of get across this huge lake. And over here on this side, just across the river, this was the second thing we built, which is a mine. And we built this tree over the mining entrance so that you kind of enter the mines through the roots of the tree. And that was something that I really wanted to build. When I first saw the mangrove trees, I thought that they were perfect. The way that they grow was perfect to have something underneath within the roots. And so we had this be our mining entrance, which is perfect. Over here we have our super smelter. This is our input chest and then our output chest. And we're using bamboo to fuel the furnace, and we just had a huge overrun of bamboo. So yeah, we definitely have way more bamboo than we needed for the super smelter. But this again was storage for mining stuff, but I have moved it to the main storage center now. So this one goes all the way down to bedrock layer, and then this one just goes down to where stone is. And this is not a very interesting place to be, but it is where I have my beacon set up. So if we head down here, This is where I have my beacon set up currently, which is where I've been collecting all of the deep slate and stone and various other things for the mega base project that I am working on currently. We got this quite recently. Now back over to this side of the swamp, we also built this barn quite early on. This I think was episode like 3 or 4 maybe, and this was just to keep all of our animals in. We have some cows and some sheep. And down here we also have a couple of little farms, auto farms. So we have a cactus farm in there. We've got the 2 tall flowers that we can they're just set up that we can bone meal them when we need them. And cocoa beans as well, those were just for dyes. And then our first little sugarcane farm. And behind the barn, you can kind of see the top of the enchanting tower. So if we follow this path off through the swamp, this part is one of my favourite parts of the pathway through the swamp. I love this flower that goes over it, and I just really like the paths in this swamp in general. I'm really happy with how these all turned out, and you feel like you're kind of winding through the mangroves, and like you could be anywhere and you don't know exactly where you are at any time. So this is the enchanting tower, and we have an up and a down. We have bubble columns, and if we go up to the top of the tower, this was our first enchanting setup, and this is a full level 30 enchant setup. This actually is still our only enchanting setup. I don't know why I'm saying first. But yeah, we decorated this tower. We got some floating candles, make it all kind of magical. All of the things that you would need in here for enchanting. And then down the other side there is a zombie spawner down there. So we just set up a quick little zombie XP farm for repairing tools and things like that. And that was our early XP farm. Now over on this other side of the bridge again, we have our nether portal, and I wanted to kind of give this its own little area. So we built this little stairway down the back of the waterfall. So this is the waterfall that you can see down from above, and so it's kind of hidden behind this waterfall. We have our nether portal, and it's very swamp themed and it's very overgrown and all of that stuff. So I really love how this room turned out. Now I'm going to hop into the nether really quickly just to show you some things in there. This is the beginning of our nether hub. I have not done very much work on it. We dug out all of these tunnels to join up all of the different areas, and I am planning on decorating this and making it all look much better. But this is kind of what the nether looks like for now. It's just for us to be able to get back and forth, different places, nice and easily. We also have a path that goes back to spawn, so if I die without a bed, we can hop into the nether hub and make it back through here. And then in this direction, that takes us down into the nether, so that when we are exploring, we can go that way. Now, I also wanted to play with some frogs in this update because they were new, so I built up here a frog sanctuary, and if you watch those episodes, you'll know that I've had a great deal of problem with the frogs hopping out of this flower and not wanting to sit in here. There are 6 frogs here, believe it or not. You can see the leads of just sort of go off because they hop out of the flower. And let's see if we can find them. They go round here and just hang out underneath the back of the flower around here. I kind of just gave up trying to keep them in there, so they can just be wherever they want now. But this was kind of inspired by the giant flower fairies in Zelda Breath of the Wild, because I really love that game and I really love those flowers. So I wanted to build the frogs a giant flower for them to live in. I'm kind of happy with how this turned out. I think this is one of those builds that didn't quite look as good as I was hoping it was going to look once I actually built it, but that's good. That's another way to learn. We can follow the path around this other side, and if we follow it in that direction, it takes us back towards where our spawn is. So that goes out of the swamp completely, off towards where spawn is. And then down here, this was our little creeper farm, and I actually really love how this looks. This is like a creeper head carved in the stone, and down here is where our creeper farm is, and then there's our AFK platform up there. Yeah, not much else to say about this, just a little stone creeper head that's fallen over. And that is most of the swamp, most of everything in the swamp. So the last bit will be just over here. Let's take a boat over. And we have another little dock on this side, and we're going to take this road out of the swamp to the next area. But I do think that this is a really good view of the swamp from this side. And if you ignore the scaffolding and the beacon beam, it's a really good view of the swamp here. And I really like this area. I'm really proud of how it turned out. So if we follow this path, we've just got some more decorations, the same as everywhere else in the swamp. And it eventually does leave the swamp. And if we follow the path up here, we come out of the swamp entirely and into another area. And in the distance, we can see the villager trading outpost coming into view. Now, this originally was a village here, and I found it when I went exploring from my starter base in the swamp, which you can see still just over the trees there. It's really close to my starter base, so I decided that the next project in this world, I was going to work on a villager trading outpost because I wanted to get some villager trading set up, and I wanted to kind of have a whole area themed around it. So this area was supposed to be a place where all of the villagers in this world would come along to trade with each other. And we do have villagers with every single different skin in this area. So this first section here is the swamp section. So we have the swamp skin villagers. Hi, buddy. And we have some kind of like piles of mud to go with the fact that it's the swamp section. We have some donkeys that would have helped bring things over here, some little tents where they would be staying whilst they are at this trading outpost, a kind of a temporary settlement area where different villagers come to trade. So if we follow this path along here, this is a custom tree that I built, which I'm super proud of. Custom trees are something that I really enjoy building, but I haven't done them a lot because I feel like they're really difficult. So it's something that I want to practice more of, and we started with one, and actually we started with two in this area, and this is one of them. And this tower is actually our iron farm, and I wanted to kind of have that in this area but also disguise it so that it feels like it's a part of the area instead of just an ugly farm sticking out. That works quite well. There is plenty of iron, and the iron golems spawn up there and they fall down here into this little pit down here, which is always fun to watch when they do fall. And they're not going to do it now that I'm watching. Now, the first thing that I actually built in this area was this house here, and this was what I wanted to have one main structure for all of the actual villagers that I wanted to trade with to go inside. If we come inside here, we have got our villager trading hall, and we have got, in this little section, we've got a few of the farmers, we've got like a blacksmith, a toolsmith and a weaponsmith. We have a leather worker, a fletcher, a cleric, a couple of masons, and then the rest of this room is librarians. And we do have every single book trade that it's possible to get, and these guys are all cured up as well, so all of their trades are like really cheap. This was a huge project and it took me a long time, but I'm really glad that I got this done because it's so useful to have all of these different trades, all of these villagers. So anytime I need tools, anytime I die, anytime I lose anything, I can just come in here and get everything back. And I can also use this as an XP farm to repair everything else up. And this definitely came in useful the couple of times that I have died and lost all of my things. And out the back we have this little greenhouse area which has some bees in it because I wanted to get a bit of honey. So I just set up this quick little greenhouse area with some bees, and this is just to manually harvest. There's nothing automatic here yet. Then across from the main house we have this stables, which actually was one of the last things I built in this area, and we just have a few horses and cows for the villagers who have travelled here from various distant locations can leave their horses in the stables to be looked after whilst they're here. And on this side we come up to the main square, but first here we have a local map. So this is showing the whole villager trading area, and you can see all of the different colours of the different market stalls and I think this looks really good on the map as well as in real life. I'm really happy with how colourful and bright this area is. That's exactly what I was going for when I first planned this out. And we have a guy here who is our cartographer, and he's selling some like maps of the area if you get lost, and also he's selling some adventure maps as well. And up here we have a map of the whole world. And this map took me a while to put together because it is a huge area that I had to cover. And so you can see up there is our swamp, and then the path that comes down to the trading hall. Our current mega base is up about here somewhere, so I need to update all of these maps to get the mega base on there and the paths that now join everything together to those places. But yeah, I really love this world map. I think it's a good thing to have in this villager trading outpost because it feels very like it would be very useful for them. The idea is that these villagers are coming from all over the world, so they would be able to see their village, and where they've come from would be on this map, and they would be able to see that. We do have a little bit of an iron golem problem in this area. Across this main area from the cartographer, we have our librarian. And I thought I wanted to have a different stall for books because I thought that would be a cute thing to have. And we have a little cat sitting here as well. So on this side of the square, we have the jungle villages. We have the kind of jungle area. They've got melons, they've got parrots. And across from them, we have the snow biome villages. We've got pumpkins here. We've got a pile of ice. And we've got some dogs down here as well. Up here, we have the nether portal. I wanted to have one group of villagers be kind of more adventurous than the others and willing to brave the nether to travel to this outpost. And maybe their town is really far away, so actually they need the portal to get here. These are tiger villages, and we've got some nether blocks in this area that they are trading, and they have skeleton horses, and we also have a couple of striders here in a little lava pool. So I thought rather than them maybe using donkeys or llamas like everybody else, they would probably use something a bit more appropriate for the nether. And since you can ride striders, I just thought this was a really fun idea that they ride the striders through the nether to get here instead of riding a horse. And then we have just a couple of paths that go off in that way, and they don't yet lead to anything. We haven't got round to building anything in those directions yet. Then the next section of the trading area is down here, down the hill from the main building and the main square, and we have desert villages over here and some piles of sand, and then we have savanna villages over on this side with terracotta and bricks as well. Oh, and all of the llamas have like matching carpet colours to the matching colours of the market stalls and the tents and stuff. So these are the desert villagers have grey and yellow, and the savannah villagers, the savannah llamas have orange and blue. So everything is all matching, and I think that's really cute. I really like that. The cats kept spawning around this area because there were so many villagers, so I kind of just kept taming them and keeping them, and they're dotted around in the area, which I like. And then here are our sheep as well. So as you can tell, we used a lot of different coloured wool in this area. So these are the rainbow sheep that have made all of those bright colours in this area possible. Then finally, if we come down to the water area, because there was water so close, I thought it would be appropriate for us to have a little dock so that villagers that want to travel over water can also arrive to the trading outpost by water. So we just have this little dock here. We've got a couple of like stalls here and some stacks of things that would maybe be loaded on and off of some boats. I really want to build a boat eventually, but I've not built a boat before, and I need to plan it out properly and decide exactly where it's going to go. But I definitely would love to have a boat in this area, and we might come back to that at some point. And then on the other side from the dock, we have the mining entrance, and this is where the last villager skin that we needed, which is just the plains villager, the original plains villager, and this is the mining entrance. So I wanted to have one of the areas in this world be an underground cave town, and so the way that they arrive here is they will come underground. So this area will get turned into a underground railway eventually, and that's how they will arrive in this area. And we made these guys blacksmiths, which was someone's comment suggestion that they would look really good as blacksmiths, and I completely agree. I think this looks so good down here. We've got a whole ton of like ores and raw blocks and mine carts here. Instead of using horses or donkeys to bring their things over, they used mine carts. And if we go round here, there is this extra little tunnel along here, which is just kind of a behind the scenes tunnel, which takes us into our main storage room for this series. So we have got loads of storage in here. This is where all of our stuff is stored. This kind of main section here is like various different things and like a different chest for each thing. And then these two little branch offs are for bulk storage. So this is like there's 3 chests for this one thing instead of just being one chest, because we have a lot of stone, for example. And it does kind of connect up to all of the different places. So it goes up to underneath the villager trading house, like the main house. That goes over to the iron farm. That goes down. That's where we fought the Wither a couple of episodes ago. And let's take a look from the air as well, because I think it's really easy to kind of get lost in this place because it's so cramped in and crowded, which is exactly what I wanted. But I think it also looks really good from the air as well. And now that brings us to the Mega Base project, which is what we are currently working on. And it is a little bit further away from these first 2 areas that I built up. But we do now have a path that goes all the way there as of last episode. So we could, in theory, we could walk there, but I think I'm just going to fly because it is still quite far away. And there's the little path you can see going through the forest, and it joins up over here with the swamp path, and then it heads off in this direction where we can see our mega base coming into view. Let's land on the path and I will show you as we approach, because I'm really happy with the sight lines of this. So we approach through the dark oak forest, and as we get to here, we start to see a peak of this castle. And as we come out of the forest and we approach, and we can get our first proper view of this huge build, which I'm working on currently and will continue to be working on for probably quite a few more episodes. So this is going to be a magic school, so witches, wizards, mages, sorcerers, whatever you want to call them, they will all come here to learn how to do magic. And the reason that I decided that is because I wanted to have interior. I really want to do interior on this base, and I feel like it was just something a little bit different than your normal castle base. I know castle bases are done a lot. There are a lot of castle bases out there. And as you can see, there is still a lot of work to do on the outside and on the inside. This is my current little base of operations that we are working in, with piles of stuff that's very unsorted and unorganised, but this is what we are currently working on. We've kind of got 2 separate sections to the build. We've got the front part and then this back part, which we're going to have a walkway to join these 2. We have a little tower over there and another tower over on that side. And this building over here is our mob farm, because I really want to have lots of string to make candles, because I think candles are going to look great in this type of build. So we've set up a mob farm over there. There's definitely still a lot more work to be done in this area, and this is what we're currently working on and what we will be continuing to work on in the upcoming episodes, both the exterior and the interior of this base. So this has been a fairly quick tour of this world so far and everything I've built in it, and kind of my thoughts around why I built things and what I was deciding at the time, which I hope you found interesting. If you do want to know more about anything, watching, of course, go back and watch the videos, but you don't have to. This should hopefully bring you up to date if you want to start the series here. So thank you for watching this tour episode. Next episode, we will be back to working on this mega base and continuing the custom biome that we started to go around the outside of this area. I hope you enjoyed seeing all of the things that we've built in this world all in one video. It really makes me realize how much I've actually built in this world to see it all together like this. I don't really spend time kind of flying around very much, but I probably should do it more because I'm really so proud of everything that I have built in this world so far, and I think this is probably the longest I have ever played in a single Minecraft world as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Goodbye!